keep the information flowing as age appropriate about who they are. I had an uncle who come in and out of my life, but one thing for sure, always with my uncle, he always did interacting with me as my parents wanted to, because my father had a real clear plan. One of the things that I loved about my uncle, he was at least able to show me, at one point my father was cool. Like I said, my father was a mathematician, glasses, pocket protector. But my uncle would tell me stories about him when they were growing up. And my father, he's only about this tall, but he's a real serious basketball player. My uncle's about this tall. Yeah. And at the time, I did not reach there, but I thought I could because I was hanging with my uncle. And he taught me how to play basketball. But those interactions, my father would let me know, he was as age appropriate. Your uncle's having some issues. However, he's my brother, and I love him, and I'm going to help him. Or I love him, and I can't help him right now because he doesn't need to come over to the house. So he was clear about those things. And some of it had to do with my own safety because he may come by the house at times when he had some challenges. All right. Share family stories about how the family overcame adversity. This is huge. Make grandpa a hero and a human at the same time. Or grandma, or aunt or uncle, or the cousin who did something significant. It's always good to know. All right. Moving on to some of the three issues: trauma and pain, social pressure, and mind and body. All right. And I want to wrap these up in the next few minutes. So you have the handouts there to give you some idea, but some personalities and experience when it comes to trauma and pain, social, in-group and out-group bullying issues, some other issues with trauma and pain, familiar issues that are unresolved. And kids see us if we're having unresolved familiar issues, whether it's with people in the house or people outside the house. But they see it. If they don't see it, then they feel the stress. They can tell changes in our body stress, especially for those especially for mothers and their kids. There's this deep connection with mothers and kids and their understanding of levels of stress and how to respond to that. And kids are taught that very early on, right out of the room, or in the womb really, and all the way through, they're taught how to respond to stress. And if they're able to stay with their family all the way through, until they're at least 7 years old, they respond exactly how their parents do. They feel it as well. And there's other circumstances where kids may have gone into foster care and they weren't able to bond with their family in that way, but they may still keep looking out for someone to bond in that way. Natural, internal, physical, or biochemical trauma and pain can occur. Natural, external, a hurricane or job loss can cause a move, and that can be very painful. And these are things you can't necessarily control, but need to be aware of. An experience that is emotionally painful, distressful, or shocking, which often results in lasting mental and physical effects, and that's the definition of trauma. Social pressure, parents and family. There's good stress sometimes with parents and family. Wedding, graduation, new baby. We have this thing in psychology called the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, or the DSM. We're about to come out with the 5th revision. One of the things on there that indicates a sign of stress is a new baby at home. And every once in a while I get a referral, and the parents were concerned about the baby, but the 5th grader now is not doing well in school. It may be that they're either tired or, there's always that jealousy issue. And it may not come out directly. I'm not going to embarrass my daughter on video with this one, but I've seen it firsthand. As much as she loves her sister, she definitely loves her sister. But when we brought that cute little baby home, she did have some thoughts about, I don't know if she needs to stay here. Peers, the body consciousness, okay? Strength, especially for young boys, they'll try to test each other. If you leave a boy from the age of 12 to 18 in a room longer than an hour, something's gonna get broken. But they always we're gonna arm wrestle, I'm gonna throw something, and something has to happen, but they worry about that. And if they're not able to measure up, that becomes a real source of challenges for the kid, at least in their mind, especially. Smarts, sometimes the kids tease them as not having smarts or being cool. The media, beauty standards. Anyone heard of emo music? Some of the kids had to tell me about it. But, the interesting thing about emo music, at least for me looking at it, is with the rise of YouTube or internet videos, kids started sharing information about the music they like and the lifestyle they lead around the emo music. So it kind of creates this whole other venue that a lot of adults don't see necessarily. Okay. Or only that rock star can understand you. Nobody understands me like, I don't know, Eminem or Rihanna or Lady Gaga. They're just singing this song and I'm just really into it. I'm trying to think who I is. I'm not gonna show how old I am, just bringing up my favorite stars. But it's worth it to have the conversation. So right now my daughter went and saw Justin Bieber, the whole movie, or Bieber, I think that's the name. Yes. Man, I was channeling my dad. But they went and saw it, she's got the poster up. But I like to listen to all the lyrics, and now you can download all the lyrics off the internet and get a sense of what this person is talking about. And at first, I did not want to listen to any of this stuff. I said, okay, well, we're in the car. At some point, I got to know what they are listening to. So I will listen to all the lyrics. Rather than saying, oh, turn that off, because I really want to, I'd say, what did they just say? What are they talking about? So they're in this plane, and it's called a G6, and they're high because they're slizzard? What does that mean? Are they drunk? What's happening? So by the time we get done with that conversation, they either choose not to listen to that song anymore, or at least they're willing to have a conversation. And the best thing I've seen is my daughters have talked to their friends about the lyrics. I don't want to listen to that. And their friends would say, wow, but it's got a good beat. All right, fine, get the one without the lyrics. I don't need to hear all that. Get the karaoke version. I'll sing it. I'll sit down. All right. Mind, body, self-worth and self-efficacy. I talked a bit about parent efficacy, but self-efficacy is this feeling that I can be effective at school. And I talked before about meaning, that I'm valuable, that I'm worth something, that I can contribute. This is important. And it's a little different than self-esteem, because some kids even have self-esteem, but they don't feel effective at school. They can be met some kids who are getting all Fs, and they're just fine, as far as their self-esteem. I know I'm a good person. I don't know what's the matter with those people at the school. That can be worked with, but in order to deal with that issue, especially the academic piece, you got to connect their self-worth to their academics. And they got to see that I can improve at this academics. I can be effective at these different things. Right. Some other concerns, changes in size, weight, puberty, learning and or playing with other kids. I have a tummy ache, a headache, I just don't feel good. Usually I would work with the nurse as a school psychologist, and we talk about what we call psychosomatic issues, or their pain or their depression or their emotional issues they're experiencing through these other issues. And usually for little kids, that's the first indicator that they're having some type of emotional issues. Especially when there doesn't seem to be any indicators, especially from a doctor or a nurse, that this kid is really having medical difficulty, but that pain is real to them, and it's worth talking about. Some kids self-soothe and self-stimulate. I've even worked with some 12th graders who still suck their thumb. I've worked with some kids who also, and I mentioned emo music before, but some kids who spend a lot of time on the internet or other things, and that's a way where they're able to create this different fantasy land and make those connections. Before I go into this, I do want to talk about when to get help and let you know that there are resources on the back of this. But I wanted to open it up for a few questions. When your efforts to redirect your child's behavior are ineffective after several weeks, when the behavior also impacts their ability to complete tasks or fun activities that they were able to do before. So if your kid loves to go surfing, for example, but they're not able to get up and have the wherewithal to go, and they're just combined with all these other challenges that they may see. After you've reevaluated with other family members, and that's good to have that close connection or other close friends to gauge the severity of the issues. And really, these people should be invested in your child and you.